Well, good morning and welcome to Zen Live. I think I may start calling this Zen Fits. I have on my blog, that's one of my categories for Zen observations, and I love that. I guess I came up with it. Zen Fits is the double meaning right there. It's a insane. It's a fit, which means an insanity, or it really fits. So maybe insanity fits. Could that be true? So let's look at the double bind of two commandments. A double bind is a situation, any situation. I get into them all the time when I get a shopping list from my wife at Walmart, and there's an item that is a little ambiguous, and I get into, is it this or that? If it's that, but if I choose that, I may be wrong. If I choose that, can you help me over here? Or I call up to get out of the double bind. So they're little and they're big ones, like North Korea is a double bind. But a double bind basically is two contradictory commandments or ideas that have opposite frames of reference. But they're mutually dependent. So each one is dependent upon the other one for its meaning, yet they're opposite. So, but you have to choose one. You have to choose unity. You have to choose one, but either choice is a lose-lose. If the popular description of a double bind, damned if you do, damned if you don't. What do? This can create panic attacks, suicide, or murder. You watch the mysteries, all the murders are created because of a double bind. I had no choice. So let's look at a double bind. I thought what would be interesting would be to look at the double bind in the Republican Party. Now this Republican Party, called Movement Conservative, now basically, understand this is just my view, so your view is great. But anyway, the Republican Party, since Nixon invited the Southern Democrats that left the Democratic Party into the Republican Party, well, the Nixon strategy, and then Reagan and the whole thing, has created this Republican Party, and there are two imperatives two imperatives. Now, imperative means you must obey it. It must be obeyed. But the two imperatives in the GOP are contradictory. Now, what are the GOP imperatives? Well, Reagan really set the imperative in stone when he said the government is evil. He maybe didn't use the evil, but he would say that the worst thing in the world, if you need help, is for the government to say, I'm here to help you. So this whole mystique of the government being the evil one, the problem, is an imperative. And what do you do with evil? Well, you can't get rid of it, but you certainly reduce its power. Now, what's the other imperative that contradicts this? Power is good. Government power is good. So the Republicans want to get government power because it's good. But government power is evil. So you can't separate government from power. I mean, you can't. The government is power. So if power is good but government is bad, wah, 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 wah. So you choose, so you have this, the contradiction of one should have less government and one should have more government. So now we're in this new form of the double bind, that the Republican Party finally has all the power, but it's still double bound. Because half of them want less government and the other half want more government. Or do more stuff or do less stuff. And you can't do both at the same time. So this creates a good old yin-yang which a yin-yang is just fits, it's a symbol that fits everything. So the yin-yang is going around and around and around. It's a double bind. Neither one can, you can't achieve, you see, there must be unity. When you have a double bind, it's like two tomcats in the backyard. One of them's got to blink or they're going to kill each other. So there must be one that has no second. This is the universal imperative. The universal commandment started out with old Yahweh, you know, have no God second to me. No one second to me. Trump runs on that imperative. No one second, I'm number one. No one second to me. Everyone else is a loser. So you have this drive towards unity, but when you're in a double bind, the only way to get to unity is to eliminate the other side. So that you're the number one. But you can't do it because the other side is you. The other side is a reflection of you. You see, these two, a double bind, each side reflects the other side in an opposite way. So it's like a mirror. So you can't so the mirror can't get rid of the reflection, because if the mirror gets rid of the reflection, it just paints itself opaque and it's not a mirror. You see what I mean? So the mirror and the reflection cannot achieve a mirror without a reflection, because then it's not a mirror. So they just go struggling through time. This creates history, struggling to find relief. And if they can't find relief, if they can't find the one, it's going to become very, very violent, because they must find the one. They must find the one. And that basically is our own drive. We all want to be the one. That is, we all want to be whole. We don't want to be conflicted. We don't want to be divided. We don't want to be having a fit. We want to fit. So we're driven to find the one, which is a whole me. I know I have. My whole life, my whole spiritual practice has been the yearning for the one. To not be two. To not be divided from my own experience. To not be conflicted. To not be saying, oh, this could be better, or this is worse. To not be comparing myself all the time, coming up short. Comparing the world, coming up short. Oh, this was a great dinner, but you know, that shrimp wasn't big enough. You know, something's always a little off. You see, you never, and if you arrive at the one, you can't hold it. Oh my God, I just got all this, but somebody's going to take it away from me. So there's also, there again, you're split, you see. So the one is always splitting, you know, see, into two. And so this creates time, this creates future. I'll be one in the future. I smoke now. I'm not saying to people that smoke want to stop smoking in the future, but they can't stop now. So they find unity would be not having a desire to smoke in tomorrow. So addictions are always about unity tomorrow. But addictions exist because they're a double bind that is not seen. You see. So the only way out, this was interesting too. I thought this morning, in fact, I wrote on it during my preliminary Facebook comments on this topic. Usually in the morning I'll come in with a blank slate and I just write something up here, and then the ideas come out, and then I'll sit down and write about it on my comments, to get people interested to tune in. And hopefully to get some comments back and get a little dialogue going. And sometimes I run this thread all day. But the idea here was getting back just to looking at the historical situation of our government with the Republican Party. See, the Democrats don't have this bind because they say government is good, power is good, so they're not conflicted. So, but the Republican Party has generated, now this generates, this is a energy generating system. When you have two conflicting imperatives, both struggling to be one, it can become either a violent explosion or a self-generating system like a battery. I've talked to you about this before. If you take a battery and this is the positive end and this is the negative end, less and more, right? Positive is more, negative is less, and you contain them in an idea that contains the opposite, you generate energy. You can turn your flashlight on with it. That's energy you can use. So these double binds, when a creative solution is discovered, that creative solution generates creative energy. If the creative solution is not realized, then that double bind creates increasing violence and frustration and extreme anxiety. We must find a way out. We must find unity. And I think this is why Trump was elected. Because he offered, what Trump was saying, no lose-lose for us. We're going to do win. He said that all the time. You're going to be so tired of winning, you see. Because everybody knew they were in a lose-lose situation. No matter what anybody did or anybody elected or anything, the promises of the GOG were always lose-lose because of the conflict. If you get power and then start reducing services, the people feel like they've lost. But they run on, the irony is that the government gets power by selling itself as reducing power. The GOP gets power by selling itself as eliminating the government. But then when you eliminate the government, you eliminate the services of the government, and you want more power, and you feel like you're losing power. That's a double bind. The tool that you're using to get what you want becomes an obstacle to getting what you want. The means to the end never gets you to the end. So this keeps kicking the ball down the road and creating new ideas and new systems and new efforts and new elections and new politicians, all trying to get out of this fit. But they can't do it because the two imperatives are contradictory. And you can't obey both at the same time. This is like telling somebody you're getting ready to do a speech. And the instructor or the parent or the authority says, now try to be spontaneous. Well, if your spontaneity and trying are contradictory. So, now I'm successful at being spontaneous, trying to be spontaneous. This talk is controlled spontaneity. Now it's controlled in that it's controlled by the format here. I mean, I am talking to you on Facebook. I'm not running out in the yard and talking. And at the same time, I have a seed idea. So I'm not just here babbling, talking about shopping at Costco the minute, and then talking about my cat, and then talking, stream of consciousness, just blah, 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 all over the place, you see. What in the hell is he doing? No, I've got a seed idea. I wrote it up here, the double bind of contradictory commandments. Now I'm spontaneously unfolding this idea. So the talk is spontaneous, but it's controlled by an idea. So the idea is a single idea that contains the contradictions that I may come up with in the talk. And so the single idea, because it contains contradictions, generates the energy for the talk. And that's how creativity works. That's why creativity is going to be controlled spontaneity. So, and controlled spontaneity is a creative double bind. Okay, so I hope you get the idea here that this is true in our life and also in the external world of our history. And the Zen view is that the external world reflects the internal world, and we can see my internal world if I see the external world metaphorically. So we could look at the government, the GOP, as being conflicted by the two imperatives of less and more. You have to have less, you have to have more. Less government, more power. That double bind, unseen, creates people voting to get rid of it on the promise that the next president, the next guy you elect, will get rid of the pain of the double bind. So this is pain. Double bind is pain, intense pain, because when you're caught in a double bind, you're not able to choose your way out. When I go to Walmart and I have a list with usually most of the things I know where they are, but once in a while there'll be one item on there that's a little ambiguous. Maybe it's something new. Now, my wife knows perfectly well what it is and where it is, but since I have not learned where it is before, there is an ambiguity there. And that little bit of ambiguity creates the double bind. Is it this or is it that? And if I choose this, I may be wrong. If I choose that, I may be wrong. If I choose that, I'm going to go back and she'll say, you didn't get the right one, it was this one. If I choose that, I'll go back and you didn't get the right one, it was this one. So which is it? Wah, 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 wah. So I can't choose my way out, you see. So when you can't choose, you can't choose yourself. When you choose something, you're choosing yourself. So you can't choose two opposite things because they don't fit. Choice is one. You see, choice is not two. Choice is one. Choice is one. But when the choice is divided between two opposite but equally valid or logical choices, we get split. Wah, wah. Now I've got to get back. This generates tremendous, like a magnet. It wants to get back to one. It has to get back to one force, one field. But it can't because each cancels out the other one. So if you ever play with a magnet or two magnets, you can't put them, you can either put them together or you can't. If they're opposite, they will not go together. You can tell. Oh, you see. And then when you discover the key and flip it, whoa, it's one. So the mind, you see, when split by the double bind of choices, should I choose that fellow or that fellow, I don't know, they both look good to me. Or men, or whatever, girls, whatever. So that when we get in those double binds, they can be life-changing or just go to Walmart, or I can't open this box. And usually these are triggered by ambiguity, right? Ambiguity is a situation where choices are unsure. It's both. It could be either one or the other. Ambiguous. Ambiguous. It means the two that is that the situation is ambiguous, or you can't choose your way out of it. So when a situation is ambiguous, that means not certain, right? You're not certain which item I should get. That triggers a double bind or an anxiety or a panic. Anxiety goes to panic unless you find a way out. And when you get in and find your way out, what do? But you choose some authority who can get you out of the ambiguity. So the Republican Party, and I'm not just exclusive, the Democrats do this too, but I'm using the Republican Party as a good example because they're so good at it. They create this double bind of less and more in the people. Why do people vote for vote for policies that are against their interest, you see? Why do they vote for less when they need more? So this creates an anxiety, and then to remove the anxiety, the party offers up the next best thing, which is the new Republican president. So, or the new senator, or a new politician. So the politician then becomes the one who will get you out of the double bind that the party has created. So when you get the one, the next guy's elected, he just follows the party line and you got the double bind again. So they keep electing new politicians to get out of the double bind that the party has created. It's a perfect trap. I don't know who thought this up, but it's beautiful. It really works. It really works, you see. So, to me, Trump is kind of like the last straw. Like, fuck it, we'll elect Trump. Win-win, which is what he promised you. But now, as 100 days, we're into lose-lose. And Trump is realizing that no matter what he does, he loses. And he can't pass anything because the party's still hung up in less and more. You got to have less government by getting more government. So I'll leave you with this Zen Fit. And have a great day.